She sat alone while everyone danced at the graduation, until a single dad did the unthinkable. The gym was filled with music, laughter, and the kind of joy that only comes once in a lifetime. Families crowded the dance floor, cameras flashing, proud parents spinning their graduates around in celebration. But in the far corner of that room, one girl sat completely still, alone, watching it all from a folding chair, pretending she didn't care. She did care, more than anyone knew. That night, one man noticed her. And what he did next silenced the entire room. Before we get into this story, if moments like these move you the way they move us, please subscribe to Heartfelt Moments and hit that like button. Drop a comment below and tell us, when was the last time someone's kindness changed your day? We read every single one. Now, let's get into this. Her name was Maya. She was 18 years old, the first in her family to graduate high school, and she had worked harder than most people ever will just to get to that night. She'd held a part-time job since she was 15. She'd studied by lamplight when the electricity got cut off twice. She'd shown up every single day, even when life gave her every reason not to. But when graduation night finally arrived, Maya stood on that stage and accepted her diploma with no one in the audience cheering her name. Her mother had passed away 3 years earlier after a long illness. Her father had left when she was 7. She had no siblings, no grandparents nearby, no aunts or uncles who made the drive. She smiled for the photo, walked off the stage, and quietly made her way to a folding chair in the corner of the gymnasium where the after-party was already beginning. She watched families rush toward their graduates with bouquets of flowers and tearful hugs. She watched mothers fix their daughters' graduation caps one last time. She watched fathers lift their sons off the ground in bear hugs so tight it looked like they'd never let go. And she sat there with her diploma in her lap, trying to smile, trying to convince herself that it was okay. That she was okay. She wasn't okay. Across the room, a man named Daniel noticed her almost immediately. Daniel was there for his own daughter, Lily, a bubbly 17-year-old who had just graduated and was already surrounded by a circle of her closest friends. Daniel was a single dad. He'd raised Lily on his own after his wife passed away 5 years prior, and he knew, in a way most people don't, what it felt like to carry both joy and grief in the same moment. He knew what it meant to celebrate a milestone while something heavy sat on your chest. He watched Maya for a few minutes. She wasn't making a scene. She wasn't crying. She was just sitting, quietly invisible in a room full of noise. And something about that image broke something open in his chest. He walked over to Lily, leaned in close, and said something in her ear. Lily looked over at Maya, then back at her dad, and without a single moment of hesitation, she nodded and smiled. Daniel straightened his jacket, picked up the extra bouquet of flowers he'd bought. He always bought 2, one for Lily and one for Lily's best friend who had moved away and couldn't make it, and he walked across the gymnasium floor toward the girl sitting alone in the corner. Maya didn't notice him at first. She was staring down at her diploma, tracing her name with her finger. When she finally looked up, there was a man she had never seen before standing in front of her, holding out a bouquet of yellow sunflowers, with the warmest, most genuine smile she had ever seen on a stranger's face. "Excuse me," Daniel said. "I don't mean to intrude. But I saw you sitting over here and I couldn't let tonight pass without someone telling you congratulations. You worked hard for that diploma. You deserve to be celebrated." Maya stared at him. She didn't know what to say. She opened her mouth, but nothing came out. Daniel didn't rush her. He just held out the flowers and waited. When she finally took them, her hands were shaking. And then, quietly, she started to cry. Not the kind of crying that comes from sadness alone, the kind that comes when you've been holding something in for so long that one small act of kindness finally breaks the dam. "I don't even know you," she whispered. "You don't have to," he said. "You earned tonight, every bit of it." By now, a few people nearby had noticed. Lily had walked over with her friends. And within minutes, what started as one man handing one girl a bouquet of sunflowers had turned into something none of them planned. Lily asked Maya to dance. Her friends joined in. Someone turned up the music. And the girl who had been invisible in the corner was suddenly, improbably, in the middle of the dance floor, laughing through her tears, sunflowers still in hand. Daniel stood at the edge of the floor and watched, and if you had been there, you would have seen something quiet and powerful on his face. Not pride exactly, something deeper. The look of a person who understands that kindness costs nothing and changes everything. Maya later wrote about that night on a small blog she kept for herself. She wrote that she had walked into graduation feeling like she was the only person in the world who had no one. And she walked out knowing that wasn't true, that a stranger could become a reason to believe in people again. That is what kindness does. It doesn't require a grand gesture or a perfect plan. Sometimes it is just a man with sunflowers, crossing a gymnasium floor, refusing to let someone feel invisible. We all know a Maya. We might even be one sometimes. And any one of us can be Daniel. All it takes is the willingness to look up, notice someone sitting alone, and walk across the room.